Kính chào quý vị khán giả đang theo dõi chương trình Cà phê Nhân dân. Thưa quý vị, ngày 24 tháng 6 hàng năm được Liên Hợp Quốc chọn làm Ngày Quốc tế Phụ nữ trong ngành ngoại giao, một dịp ý nghĩa để tôn vinh những người phụ nữ bản lĩnh đang khẳng định vai trò quan trọng trên các diễn đàn quốc tế. Và thật đặc biệt khi cuộc trò chuyện ngày hôm nay mang tới sự giao thoa giữa hai quốc gia cà phê hàng đầu thế giới, đó là Việt Nam và Colombia. Khách mời của chúng ta ngày hôm nay không chỉ mang tới những câu chuyện thú vị từ quê hương Colombia, mà còn là một hình mẫu truyền cảm hứng trong lĩnh vực đối ngoại. Đại sứ Camila María Polo Flórez, nữ đại sứ đầu tiên của Cộng hòa Colombia tại Việt Nam. Thank you very much for spending time with us today.
To the audience of Nhân Ngày, as Ambassador of Colombia to Vietnam, first of all, I want to thank you for watching this interesting interview. And second, my embassy is open to welcome you and to share with you all what Colombia is. We are biodiversity, we are a very warm people, we are a country of beauty, we are a country of wonders, and we would be very, very pleased if you consider some time, not only to learn about Colombia, but also to travel to our beautiful country. My team and I will be very pleased to welcome you at any time and to have and share a cup of coffee, the best coffee in the world.
Madam Ambassador, to start today's conversation, I would like to share with you a piece of good news. This morning, on June 18th, Vietnam's diplomacy was incredibly proud as Associate Professor Dr. Nguyễn Thị Lan Anh was elected as a judge of the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea with the highest vote in the Asia-Pacific. This milestone is not only a great honor for Vietnam, but a shared joy for women in diplomacy worldwide, affirming that women can achieve immense success in crucial international roles. So could you share something on this inspiring news?
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Vietnam for this successful achievement. In diplomacy, getting a high vote is not easy anymore. So I know this is very important for Vietnam and remarkable for a woman to have the honor to be the first Vietnamese judge at the International Tribunal on Law of the Sea. This is happening within days to the International Day of Women in Diplomacy, and I think it's remarkable and, as you said, inspiring. Having more women at positions like that one is important not only because we are bringing a voice, an expert voice like hers, in something so important as the law of the sea, but because, one, she shows it's possible, and second, she can be a role model for many women in Vietnam. So I'm very happy for Vietnam. And at the same time, I think this is happening also within days that our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ms. Rosa Villavicencio, led an open debate at the Security Council at the UN about women, peace, and security with a key message. Women must be building peace. We cannot be left outside. So I think this is a good coincidence for both of our countries, the election and also the dialogue, the open debate that the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Colombia led at the Security Council.
Thank you very much. Madam Ambassador, both Vietnam and Colombia are proud to be among the world's top coffee producing nations. At the World Coffee Heritage Forum in Đắk Lắk, you shared about Colombia's coffee culture. So, in your opinion, what similarities between our two peoples does coffee culture reflect? And in your diplomatic career, has a cup of coffee ever helped you break the ice in a crucial negotiation?
Absolutely. I start with the second question. I think all diplomats would agree that a cup of coffee not only break the ice, but also bring together people. And I think it's probably the main similarity we have in our cultures. Both in Vietnam and in Colombia, a cup of coffee is inviting. It's a way to build friendship, trust. It's part of our identity at the same time. And it's interesting that even if coffee is not a native plant from Vietnam or Colombia, it was brought by French here and Spaniards in the country, it became so much part of our identity. any Colombian in the world, same that any Vietnamese in the world would say, I'm from Vietnam, the best coffee in the world, and Colombians would do the same. So I think that's one element. Another element is the importance of family growing coffee. And even more important, in both countries, about 70-80% of women are working in the coffee sector. So there is coffee with the hands of women there. And maybe it's something we need to encourage and at the same time be proud of.
In 2022, the UN established the International Day of Women in Diplomacy. So, what do you think is the core meaning of this day?
This day is very important because with it we are bringing visibility to the contribution that we have made for many years building peace, preventing conflict, international cooperation, and of course better understanding among nations. And I think that's precisely what we're bringing to the table. We're bringing perspectives, we're bringing the voice of half of the population in the world. We are bringing the attention to the fact that many situations in the world, call it war, climate change, cybercrime, affect women in a very different manner, and we need to bring that perspective. So I think it's an important day to celebrate that we have achieved a lot, but at the same time that we have a challenge. So we are permanently called to action to improve the quality of life for women, ensure our human rights are understood and are addressed, and then that we can keep contributing to better societies in peace for development and also economic growth.
Thank you. Well, you have 25 years of experience working with various major affiliations and international organizations. Currently, you are the first female ambassador of Colombia to Vietnam. How do you feel taking on this special responsibility in our country?
I take it with great responsibility. Becoming an ambassador is not only achieving the maximum goal in a career like diplomacy, but is representing my country, but also representing many women who are coming behind and that probably are looking at me. It's the responsibility of strengthening the relationship between our two countries. Being here has been an honor. I've been very welcomed by Vietnamese authorities, people on the street, and that gives me more reason to take this job with more passion and also love of my country and the responsibility it also comes with it.
Well, looking back at your 25-year journey, what inspired you to pursue a professional career in diplomacy? And what has been the most memorable moment of your career so far?
Becoming a diplomat, it was a dream from when I was a child.
Wow. From the time you were
and
a
it
child.
was and it was hidden until I entered the Diplomatic Academy of Colombia, and then I joined the service 25 years ago.
Yes.
Why? I think because I'm interested in learning about cultures, I'm interested in building bridges, I'm interested in promoting understanding, and I think that's what life took me through this path until now. If you ask me what is the most memorable moment, it's very difficult to say because every time I represent or I talk about my country, that's a special moment for me. But if I have to pick one, I would say the day I presented my credentials here in Vietnam. I felt proud. I felt like the legacy of my family, of my country, of all what I have built in this time was special. And then I think I felt like an extra boost of energy thinking of that and having this absolutely beautiful ceremony. It was the honor of my life.
Very emotional. Well, in Vietnamese, we have a saying, it's not the person who chooses the job, but the job that chooses the person. Do you think that's the same in your situation?
Well,
So,
I think that's the case.
yes,
That's
I think
beautiful.
so. Diplomacy often requires frequent relocation between countries. The female diplomats, especially during periods of embracing motherhood or taking maternity leave, this brings unique situations. From your perspective, how do female diplomats navigate and manage their specific circumstances so their careers can continue to thrive without interruption?
Well, that's a very good question that applies to both men and women in diplomacy. This constant movement is not easy on the person and even less in families. And in the case of women, I think it's not only motherhood. When you have a partner, you need to think of your partner. Uh, will he have a job? Not. If you are a single mother, you have to think, how can I divide my time for my children? Normally, women carry also the care of their old parents or maybe somebody in the family. So we are still carrying the care of the house, parents, kids. How do we navigate? I think we always find the strength at the personal level, but I think it's important, and I've experienced that, the importance of the institutional flexibility and policy framework that allows for women to continue with their careers and their families. Again, this is not only for women. Men have the same problem. And when you think of the wives of many men in diplomacy, they are also sacrificing. So it's women in diplomacy and women who are in diplomacy, like it's again the partners of many men who are ambassadors or diplomats or commercial attaches.
Many difficulties,
Yes,
but we have to find a way to overcome it.
we do it. And I think that's the strength of women. Sometimes it's not about relocation. Sometimes it's the time you have to dedicate to work at night, negotiating late at night or attending events early in the morning, traveling. And that's time that probably for children is very important and for partners. So, yeah.
So, what about you? How can you balance your life?
Well, I don't have a family, but how I think is prioritizing. And yeah, that's a difficult question. How can I do it? I think I've have the conditions, the support from my ministry, the support from my partner and family to advance in my career. And I think that's very important. It's not only the diplomat, but it's the circle around her or him.
Thank you. From a policy perspective, what should countries do to support and maximize women's potential in foreign affairs? And what experiences can Vietnam and Colombia share with each other in this process?
I think one of the topics is how, especially Ministry of Foreign Affairs, create certain flexible frameworks to facilitate the participation of women in diplomacy, to create incentives for more women to join the service, but also to have our voice and rise to high positions. When it comes to a broader aspect of policy, it's important to think that it's not only foreign affairs. Our foreign policy is built at home. So the moment you start to have a mainstream perspective of gender, that you address climate change, cybercrime, health, trade, and you see the role of women, then you can have a voice and then you create a better framework to address those topics internationally. I think, for example, Vietnam was very vocal, and that's why hosted the signing ceremony of the International Convention on Cybercrime. During the negotiations, Colombia was one of the very vocal countries saying cybercrime affects differently to women and children. So we need to take provisions in that convention to address that specific aspect of crime. And it's how it works. Because if we see it at home, we develop legal frameworks or experience, then we can share it internationally and reinforce the collective work on those issues. And I think it's what Colombia and Vietnam, we can exchange more about that. What we are doing for women in coffee, what we are doing to empower women who have own business, and many, many other things. So it's about learning, being open to exchange experiences, find commonalities, and always have the voice of many women who are not always represented.
Thank you. Looking ahead to the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and Colombia in 2029, what key areas of cooperation do you hope our two countries will prioritize? And how can women from both nations contribute to this bilateral relationship?
That's a very interesting question. I think that we'll start with the end, that I think we should have the gender perspective in all topics of our agenda. And we don't have to name it always, but we need to take that into account. My perspective for the 50th anniversary is, of course, that our trade increases and is more balanced, that our political dialogue is strengthened and is more continuous, that we have a more active cultural exchange. I think it's one of the solid pillars of our bilateral relationship, and I think it's where we can definitely strengthen that. We can work more on the people-to-people diplomacy, and there, for example, is when we can bring the voice of women. Colombia this year signed the official law adopting the feminist foreign policy, which basically means that we will include the voice, concerns, and needs of women in all of our agenda. That also means that we are bringing experiences, but we are open to learn, and I think we have a lot to learn. When you look back at the history of Vietnam and the history of Colombia, you will realize the important role of women in independence battles, in policy, in elections, and so on. So we can also learn that thinking ahead, and for another 50 years, maybe women can also do more in our excellent relation.
That's a great idea. Finally, do you have any advice for young Vietnamese women who aspire to step out into the world, especially those passionate about pursuing a career in diplomacy?
It's difficult always to give advice, but what I would say to those women who want to be a diplomat, represent their countries, be confident. Always be confident, prepare yourself, become an expert in something. Learn about your country. I think loving your country is important, is a key. And with that love and with that passion about your country, whatever you transmit, negotiate, represent, will give you more power at the same time. Last, I would say remain authentic. We women are different in many ways, and that gives us some authenticity that we should protect and that we should project. And I think that gives confidence at the same time, but also make us unique in this job.
What a meaningful and inspiring message. Thank you very much, Ambassador Camila María Polo Flórez, for this sincere and profound conversation today. Your elegance and openness are truly a wonderful positive energy, a testament to the bravery of female diplomats. I wish you a brilliant and successful term filled with beautiful memories in Vietnam.
Thank you very much.
Thưa quý vị, Ngày Quốc tế Phụ nữ trong ngành ngoại giao không chỉ là một dịp để tôn vinh, mà còn khẳng định rằng sự hiện diện của người phụ nữ mang tới những góc nhìn thấu cảm, bao dung và toàn diện hơn cho việc giải quyết các vấn đề toàn cầu. Cuộc trò chuyện ngày hôm nay cũng là một minh chứng cho thấy tiếng nói của phụ nữ đang ngày càng được trân trọng và lan tỏa mạnh mẽ trên các diễn đàn quốc tế. Một lần nữa cũng xin được cảm ơn tất cả quý vị và các bạn đã quan tâm theo dõi chương trình Cà phê Nhân dân của chúng tôi ngày hôm nay. Còn bây giờ, xin kính chào tạm biệt và hẹn gặp lại.